Welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm a presenter, Alian Christopher. After two solid performances on Saturday evening, Bob has captured the coveted title of Calypso Monarch 2018. This is Bob's first Calypso crown after 17 years. Here is Bob with CBN4's reporter Marisa Stedman.
This evening to announce our new Calypso Monarch at the Bob. How do you feel, Bob?
It's exhilarating, it's very gratifying because it has been a very long journey.
A lot of people feel like you really deserve this. So what is your take on that?
Well, I think the people know what they're talking about because they have seen me fighting really hard over the years. It's been 17 years and I have tried my best to do everything correctly. I may not have sung songs that the people may have been very happy with, but I have always conformed to the rules of the game. And I think that's the reason why the people have seen my efforts.
Having said that, I feel obligated to ask, what was the inspiration behind your second song?
The second song basically is my life. You know, when I look at the comments about me on Facebook and among the people on the ground and so on, sometimes I feel it's very negative and it's mainly people who don't know me. And that in itself just created an inspiration for a song.
Met the Hebrews out of Egypt. They never liked him. They enjoyed it, but they never.
The 8-time Calypso Monarch, Denison Dice Joseph, finished in second place. Tasha P finished third, and Versailles finished in fourth position. Meantime, the 2017 Calypso Monarch, Caressa, who prematurely ended his performance in the first round and failed to appear in the second round, has issued an apology statement to the public. During the third verse of the encounter, Caressa stopped singing and stated, "Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Caressa," and walked away.
My dear Calypso lovers, let me begin by congratulating the 9 finalists who worked very hard to put on a spectacular event under very challenging conditions. I want to congratulate in a very special way King Bob, who has been a very hard worker and remained disciplined and committed to the art form, someone I consider to be a true Calypso champion. I want to also commend the Dominica Calypso Association for the tremendous work it has done to keep Calypso, and by extension, the 2018 carnival season alive. As for me, I want to take full and total responsibility for my very unusual behavior on the night of the finals, irrespective of what may have contributed to it. I sincerely apologize to the Dominican public, the Dominica Calypso Association, the honorable judges, Calypso lovers, my team, my sponsor, and my many fans who continue to reach out to me day after day. I am very, very sorry for the hurt and pain that you experienced due to this encounter. I do hope that we can all put this issue to rest as soonest. Be assured that I will continue to support the Calypso art form and my fellow Calypsonians. Calypso is bigger than any one of us. No matter how controversial it may be, it is one of the many glues that keep our people together. I want to thank you for listening. May God bless you and may God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. Thank you.
No pity.
Oh God, when I start to fall, oh look what I in the face. I see in the mood. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the caresser.
And on Monday and Tuesday, the 12th and the 13th of February, Dominica celebrated a scaled-down mass Dominic Carnival 2018. Recent budgets for Carnival was well over $700,000, but due to the extensive damage from Hurricane Maria, Carnival budget decreased to just over $250,000 this year. Well, that certainly didn't stop the many Carnival lovers from celebrating Dominica's culture and its tradition. The streets filled with color and excitement, music booming from every corner, Dominica's Carnival 2018 was more than alive on the 2 days. In case you missed out on the action, here's a sneak peek of what you missed.
Dominicans, to all of the diasporans and people in the world, today is officially Carnival Monday here in Dominica. Of course, Hurricane Maria, it changed a lot of things, including our opening hours for Juve. But Juve started this morning officially at 6 a.m. And I can tell you the people are right up. Yes, there's a lot of people on the streets this morning dressed in their different costumes, all different sorts of attire, here to celebrate Carnival 2018 in Dominica. We're in the capital.
I'll be honest with you, I did not think that we would have had a carnival this year. But you know, God is good, and I find pressing on, we have progressed quite quickly in terms of accepting what it is and waiting slowly for things to happen, and things are happening. I think this was a really good outcome, a really good medium for all of us to be happy in a time of struggling, like especially now that we're struggling. People just needed a time to be happy, to be normal, and this carnival really gave us that opportunity. So for what it is, it really exceeded my expectations, and I look forward to next year already with even more progress.
Okay, Tasha. Anything on your calendar after the carnival season?
Well, knowing the struggle right now, we have nothing planned. We have things in the process, in the thought process, unwritten, but not anything clarified or confirmed as yet. So just keeping my options open for now.
And that there was some action from Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more news right after this break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
And welcome back. Investigations have commenced into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 51-year-old man from the Kalinago territory. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Police Force, Pelham John Baptist, noted that about 10:25 a.m. on Monday, 12 February, the St. Joseph Police responded to an information which resulted in the discovery of the lifeless body of Alexis Joseph. The body was discovered in a shallow river at Poncase. Alexis Joseph was officially pronounced dead at the St. Joseph Health Center by a medical doctor. John Baptist further stated that a coroner's inquest will be convened and investigations continue. A businesswoman from the community of Massac, particularly the Chekol area, is pleased with the initiative made by the government of Dominica to repair the road in the area. George noted that with the deplorable conditions of the road and persons not being able to drive into Chekol, her business fell drastically beneath the cracks.
Oh boy, we have a highway now. Before our vehicles were hitting the bottom of the road, we could not access the property. People would have to park. My business was dead. Dead, because nobody could not come in. And I am so happy for such a short space of time that these people come into Dominica. I think it took them no longer than 2 days when they have straightened and flattened our road. And I want to give so thanks for Dominica Strong.
George also noted to our reporter that her building suffered some significant damage during the passing of Hurricane Maria and is now in the reconstruction process. Also in the news, the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division is asking the general public to bear some patience with the wild animals as they seek for food. Forest Officer Stephen Durant stated that he is aware that some of the animals are creating a problem for farmers. He said this is a major concern and the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division is working on finding solutions to deal with these issues at hand.
We have to be able to help to protect and to conserve species. It's our culture, it's our tradition. Some of these animals are our alternative source of protein, so we have to find ways to support, forestry in protecting and conserving those species so that we can have these animals in future, for future generation.
He also noted that the Forestry Division is particularly concerned about the wild animals that are being killed by drivers and left on the streets. He said that this is just a sign of ignorance by the drivers.
Well, the thing is, it just shows, the level of ignorance, in this country. And I think our people would have been more knowledgeable now, far more concerned, more passionate about what has happened to our animals. And Manikou, or the opossum, is a species that has been on the decline, and I think prior to Maria, that species was coming back to a certain point. The population was on the increase, and it is just a shame that some of our road users, chauffeurs in particularly drivers, are not mindful of how they drive on the road, and they're still engaging, killing. So we've seen a number of road kills, on some of our highways and some of our roads. So again, we're calling out on chauffeurs and drivers, to pay attention, whenever they see some of those animals on the road, that they should avoid killing them, because all of the species that I've said have a role to play, and so we need to protect and conserve and manage the population.
Dura also noted that announcements were made in order to alert the public about the importance of the wild animals. And every year after the carnival celebrations on Ash Wednesday, the Lenten season begins. Lenten season is an annual observance by the Universal Church and culminates during the celebration of Easter. Bishop of Roseau, His Lordship Gabriel Malzier, stated that this Lenten season is important and significant and should be considered as a time to look into oneself and reflect.
Lent is 5 weeks long with very important events, especially the parish retreats. So each parish in the diocese, from maybe the 2nd week of Lent until the 5th week of Lent, will have some parish retreats. It's a moment of renewal. It's a moment to invite the parishioners to introspect, to enter into themselves and to seek renewal for their lives. It's a moment that we normally say we do our Easter duties. That is availing ourselves to the possibility of going to sacramental confession, and of course preparing ourselves for this great season of Easter, which is the great feast of communion with Christ.
The Lenten season is a time set aside for reflection on Jesus Christ, His suffering and His sacrifice, His life, death, burial, and resurrection. And stay tuned, there's more coming your way right after this break.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
And welcome back. A few homes in a community in the south of Trinidad have been evacuated following at least 2 eruptions. The rumbling began around 4 a.m. at the volcano in Hindustan village, and another eruption was reported after 9 a.m. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management said it is closely monitoring the situation along with the Environmental Management Agency, the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago, the University of the West Indies Geological Society, the UWI Seismic Research Center, and the Princess Tongue Regional Corporation. Police and fire officials also converged at the site. Agriculture Minister Clarence Rambarat also reported that there was still some seismic activity at the site and the size of the mudflow was growing, and he advised citizens against visiting the volcano. He said 3 homes close to the site have been evacuated and cracks were visible on the road and on lands in the area. And despite St. Vincent and the Grenadines being widely known as one of the biggest producers of cannabis in the Caribbean, the government says it currently has no interest in legalizing its use for recreational purposes. Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez told Parliament that the Unity Labour Party administration is exploring its options in the production of marijuana for medical purposes, but it won't be going to the route of some of the Caribbean countries in allowing people to have small amounts of the drug for personal use. The latest country in the region to head that route is Antigua and Barbuda. Just last week, the House of Representatives passed the Misuse of Drugs Amendment Bill, which decriminalizes up to 15 grams of cannabis for personal use. However, Gonzalez warned the unregulated consumption of recreational marijuana poses a number of risks and challenges that we do not currently have the data on which to make informed decisions or the capacity to manage effectively. He added that in addition to the unknown risks and challenges, there is a deep divergence of views on the issue of recreational marijuana in our society. South Africa's ruling ANC party resolved Tuesday to oust scandal-tainted President Jacob Zuma from office after he refused to resign, local media reported following a marathon closed-door talks. The party's powerful 107-member National Executive Committee met for 13 hours at a hotel outside Pretoria and decided that it would recall Zuma from his post, several local media outlets stated. Other media reported that the party would write to Zuma ordering him to stand down as president after his request for a few more months in office was rejected. The ANC can recall the head of state essentially forcing him to step down, but the process is the party-level instruction and he is under no constitutional obligation to obey. If he refuses, he would then be likely to be ousted via a parliamentary vote of no confidence within days. And a Russian passenger plane carrying 71 people crashed near Moscow on Sunday, minutes after taking off, killing everyone on board in one of the country's worst ever aviation disasters. Investigators said the Anatov AN-148 plane crashed in the Ramensky district on the outskirts of Moscow after taking off from an airport in the capital. 3 children were among the dead on a list published by Russian authorities. An investigation into the crash said numerous causes would be considered, including weather conditions, human error, and technical failure, and did not mention the possibility of terrorism. The flight was operated by the domestic Saratov Airlines and was headed to Orsk, a city in the Ural Mountains. More than 400 people and 70 vehicles had been deployed to the crash site, the country's emergency ministry stated. And that takes us to the end of the Primetime News package for this evening. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for watching.